Hello, it's Key of W again with some more Let's Play of Submachine. We're on the third game now called The Loop. And with this one we have quite a bit of a different experience compared to all the other Submachine games. I don't want to spoil too much of that, just to say that this one does not play like any of the other games, for better or for worse. And a lot of that is on purpose, as Skutnik was developing the series and running into issues with the first couple of games with some of the puzzles that didn't work out as well as he thought. So he decided, screw it, we're just doing some basic brain puzzles for this game, and that's what we have. And because of the linear nature of it, he added a password system which is not present in any other game, which allows you to skip ahead to any series of puzzles if you stop in the middle. We're not going to use that right now because we're going to go through the whole game. It's relatively short. Anyway, let us just get started and we'll see exactly what I mean by a little bit different. There is no diary page. There is no menu. There is no spoon. There is no trash bin. In fact, there's nothing to collect at all. It's just you and the machine. So if that isn't the most mid-2000s intro you have ever seen. So yeah, this game boasts no inventory puzzles, no weird stuff like that, no wandering through worlds to collect stuff. We see instead this environment here. We've got some sort of device here. Looks like a glass shield is covering it so we can't use it, and something down here which we can pick up. And so yeah, it said no inventory, but there's an inventory. This is the only real inventory item though. We don't have to manipulate it. It's just telling us something. It says navigator down here, so maybe it's helping us find our way around in some way. But before I click on this button, I'm gonna look around. So right away you'll notice that when I go to this other room, it looks pretty much the same as this one here. We have the same light device, we have the same exits, we just have a different object here. And down here, we've changed the numbers on the device. It says 1, 0. And in fact, if I go over here, it says 2, 0, 3, 4. And I could do this forever. We'll never run out of rooms. This entire game is an infinitely generating series of rooms. You go this way, you have negative numbers. This way, positive numbers and stuff. I'll check out those notes in just a second. But so you see, this game is not a normal world. It's kind of hard to quantify how large this game is, unlike the first two where it's like there's this number of rooms. This game really just has one room the whole time, and it's this one. So let's take a look around. You'll see these notes will explain a little bit. Never stroll away from the center. Never. I had a companion once. She said she wanted to check out how far do these rooms go. I've never seen her again. The rooms reset every other cycle. The compass will reappear soon. If I only knew which cycle I'm in. He said to mark this paper every time I pass it. And that's a lot of marks. For some reason the tally marks change it every 4. We add this up, we've got at least 50 here, probably. He's got circles or something. Yeah. And then down here is the final note. I've been here before. I remember these damn looping rooms. If I only could remember what was that all about. Some machine unlocking further connections, a compass showing me coordinates. Yes, it was all about the coordinates, but there is no compass in here now. What to do? I think the compass is the navigator that I'm holding. For some reason it was just left there for me to use. So there's no real explanation of how we got into here aside from using the portal in the lighthouse in the previous game. Which I guess works, but we don't know how anyone else got in here because there's not a lot of evidence the lighthouse had been used before we got there because we had to turn on the machine. It would have been on if someone else had been there before us, but it seems like multiple groups of people had been trapped here in this area that goes on forever, and the fact we don't see any of them now is just icing on the cake as far as the isolating nature of this place, which is called the loop. So apparently you get stuck here no matter where you go. It's an infinite repeating series of rooms. You can't escape. This thing will also come of use later. Right now it's just showing a grid with an X on it. It doesn't really help us yet, but it will come into play in just a moment. So now that we've looked at everything, we kind of know what situation we're in for. We press this button and we're back here again, except now the room is a slightly different color. And that's just done to differentiate puzzles for us, so we know when we've advanced to the next puzzle. It otherwise doesn't mean anything. And at the bottom of the screen we have a password. And so every single iteration of the loop, we have a new password, so if you quit the game partway through, you can come back to the puzzle you stopped on. Because the game is divided pretty sequentially like that. So we won't be using those right now, so let's just move on. So when we go back to the room that had that map from before, which was 1-0, now the map has some dots on it. I call it a map preemptively before we've discovered that it is a map, but it is divided up this way. It's pretty obvious that we have this thing going on, and this X must be this device here. And if we believe that, then we know we're in this location, which means if we head down, yeah, it says there's something there, which there also should be something there, but not in the room here. So we'll see 1, 2, 3. So this map is marking special locations for us to help us solve this puzzle, because without this map, some of these puzzles would be nigh impossible to solve, because even with the navigator, we still don't know what rooms we need to go to. Luckily for us, this one is a very simple puzzle. Not really a puzzle, we just have to click on every single one of these, and it unlocks this. As for why these puzzles exist, there literally is no explanation. Unlike the previous game, where you can imagine why a puzzle would exist, this one there is none. There's no explanation to how this stuff was set up and why it was set up. It just kind of exists. So we're in this room right here. This is 1-0. So if we head to 1-1, we see a device, and I imagine we're going to see a similar device in every single one of these rooms. Yep. What does it do? Well, we click on it, and it gives us a number 24. Alright, that doesn't tell us much. What if I go to this one and click on it? This gives us the number 42. Okay. 45. I'm just going to click a few numbers here. 12. 44. 54. So it seems we're getting a 2-digit number every time. 55. 45. Every time it's 2 digits, and it seems like the digits are between 1 and 5. We haven't seen anything that goes outside those bounds. And hold up, if I go back down to this room, if we map the coordinates of this graph here, this room is 1, 1, and this room up here is 5, 5. So if you were to write those coordinates as a 2-digit number, you would have a number 11 to 15, 21 to 25, 31 to 35, 41 to 45, and 51 to 55. So, oh, I can click and then it changes the number. So if every time I click on this, I get a new number. Let's imagine I get a number 11. Oh, hey, when I clicked it again, this time the navigator, one of these things turned green. Oh, it unturned green. Well, what if I go to the room that this is mentioning? So it says 1, 2. Oops, it's 2, 1. Go to 1, 2, and then press. Then this turns green. And now it says to go to 5, 4. Press that one. Another one turns green. So it seems like this is the correct solution here. It's to go to the rooms. Oops, this way. Listed on the numbers. 5, 4. 3, 1. Yeah, and then we heard the sound effect that had solved the puzzle. So let's go back to the center, and this is in fact open. So it seems like we have to solve some kind of puzzle every time. It will light these things up, and once 6 lights are up, it will unlock this, which sends us to the next puzzle. Also part of the same looping system with no end in sight. Let's see. This time we have an X, these 3 dots here. So if I head up this way, I've got this device with 4 numbers. If I press a button here, it increases the top left, and this button decreases it. This one does the bottom left, and this one does the bottom right. But I can't seem to influence that number. That doesn't do anything yet. This time the top right number, bottom left, bottom. So this number is not being influenced. I imagine we're going to see, yeah, so this time one of these 2 numbers. So yeah, it's the top. So this number is not being influenced. And this time this one won't be, right? Yeah. So since we can't change some of these numbers, maybe this number, the one here, is supposed to be a 3, and the rest of them we need to match something else. In fact, what if we need to make sure that all of the numbers on these devices are matching? That's a reasonable assumption to make, and if that's the case, we need 3 to be the top right number, 7 to be the top left, 7 to be the bottom left, and 3 to be the bottom right in every single case. So if I do that, this turns green. Awesome. Let's see here. Yep. Oops, this should be 3. Yep. Oh, and then this turns green. So those things are being used later. 3. Oh, that's already set. So if I do that now, 3 of these things turn green. So this one must also work. And that solves that puzzle. So I know it's only a couple puzzles in, but I'm going to stop this video here just to break it up into more manageable chunks for you all to watch. And I'll continue this, probably finish it. This game's actually pretty short. Finish the loop in the next video. So I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.